Good afternoon. The Public Safety Committee will now come to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Aldberg. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Here.
Alderwoman Keys.
Here.
Alderwoman Velazquez.
Present.
Alderwoman Sunier. Vice Chair Aldridge.
Present.
Chair Narayan.
Here.
We have 5 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. A quorum being present, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, July 11th, 2024.
Do we have the minutes?
Mhm.
I have them. Do I? Oh. So moved. Oh, from June.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Alderwoman Velazquez, seconded by Alderman Aldridge. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Odenberg. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Velazquez.
Aye.
Alderwoman Sunier. Vice Chair Aldridge.
Aye.
Chair Narayan.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes.
All right, with that, we've sustained the motion to pass to approve the minutes. There's only one item on our agenda for today. That's resolution number 90. We had previously discussed Exhibit A, which is the funding for Prop S. After meeting with the Office of Violence Prevention again, there are enough funds to fully fund all of the entities that we had selected. They have a manpower issue with issuing more contracts than to additional organizations, but we can fully fund the organizations that we had selected. During the discussion in the subcommittee, we had given less funding than some organizations had requested, but we do have the funds to fully fund those. That's the request of the Office of Violence Prevention. So with that, can I see that later again, Alderman? I'm going to just go through and make some oral amendments to Exhibit A, and we'll just go through them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dollar amounts that need to be changed, and so I will just make the motions, and we will hopefully move forward on that. So at this point, I'll move that we amend the award amount of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Missouri from $65,000. We'll strike out 6500 and insert in lieu 7500.
So moved.
So I made the motion.
Second.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Odenberg. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Velazquez.
Aye.
Alderwoman Sunier. Vice Chair Odenberg. I'm sorry, Vice Chair Aldridge. I didn't hear you, Vice Chair
Oh,
Aldridge.
yeah, aye.
Chair Narayan.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes.
All right. So then next, I move that we amend the dollar amount for Believe It Youth from, so we'll strike out 9000 and insert in lieu thereof 100000, $100,000.
Second.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Previous roll.
Hearing no objection, we have made that change as well. The next is the Village Path. The dollar amount, I move that we strike out the $90,000 amount and insert in lieu thereof $100,000.
Second.
Previous roll. Hearing no objection to previous roll, we've made that amendment. Next, we'll go to LifeWise St. Louis. I move that we strike out the dollar amount 46659 and insert in lieu thereof $75,000.
So moved. Or second.
Previous roll. Hearing no objection to previous roll, we have made that amendment. Next, we'll look to I-180 Youth Program. I move that we strike out the award amount of $90,000 and insert in lieu thereof $100,000.
Second.
Previous roll. Hearing no objection to previous roll, we've made that amendment. We will now move to Communities First. I move that we strike out the award amount of $53,693 and insert in lieu thereof $66,455.
Second.
Previous roll. Hearing no objection to previous roll, we've made that amendment. And finally, we have the Good Journey Development Foundation. I move that we strike out the award amount of $53,693 and insert in lieu thereof $58,402.
Second.
Previous roll. Hearing no objection, we have made that amendment. That is all I have. I'll open it up to the committee for any further discussion on resolution number 90 before we move to excuse members.
Just want to check. I know we just did this all, not quite real-time math, but just want to make sure that we have this. I don't know, we don't want to meet again to do the same thing, but just want to double check that our math is right and everything will be in a written, non-oral
Yes.
addition sort of way that we've done today.
No, I'll be putting together it'll be Exhibit A as amended, which will now have those updated figures.
I mean, I just also want to echo. So I know we're back here now because we thought we had 1 million. It sounds like we have, and I think it's.
Well, I want to be clear. That's not why we're back here now.
Well, could you explain? I guess.
Sure. There was a resolution that was filed. The resolution got sent to committee, which now we're in committee hearing the resolution, and then we'll vote it out. Then it'll be able to be dealt with by the full board at our next full board meeting.
Correct, but we're here because we're voting it out now, but we're here and we're funding the organizations to their full capacity because there are extra funds.
There are, yes.
And just for the public, because I think we had a good, robust, we said we're going to be transparent during this process, a good, robust conversation in the subcommittee about how much we have. We got rid of some organizations. The Alderwoman already talked about the oral stuff, but I would say for the floor or when we get there, it'd be good to know what funds are left.
We should probably.
No, I was going to say what funds are left, just to be clear, if they can be, I guess, what you're saying, rolled over.
Yeah, so after discussion with Will Pinkney with the Office of Violence Prevention, we are basically at their manpower capacity in awarding contracts. People have to, write up all these contracts on the time frame. And so they're essentially at manpower on the number of organizations. They had asked us to pick 10, 12 organizations. We've picked 15. So we have stretched them thinner than they had hoped for already. In an ideal world, of course, we would look to spend down to $0, but I think it's important to note that these Prop S funds, by ordinance, stay Prop S funds. So in the future, we can look at potentially bigger um, bigger dollar amounts going to organizations, or if there's increased manpower, more contracts overall, because these are not funds that will go back into the general fund or anything. They will stay there. So the hope is that as we move forward with this, that in the future we'll be able to, like I said, either award bigger contracts or B, more of them.
And only thing I'm saying, hopefully we'll have the same public safety committee. This is a background sound, and I get that. I'm just saying for the record, not, and it don't have to be today. Maybe we have the same public committee. Maybe you be chair, maybe not. But I think for the record, so we know next year we'll get the million, just to know what will be also the money that is not being spent that could be added on to that, and just
Absolutely, and so that is in the budget itself. There's a line item for it in the budget, and I had met with the Office of Violence Prevention on this to address that as we move forward. So we're actually going to be beginning the discussion on next year's Prop S funding. This committee will begin taking that up at the beginning of December. So it's going to be a much more clear process this time, because we're also looking at shifting the effective dates of these contracts at the same time.
okay. I think mine is just clear. I still would like to know what remaining balance we have.
Sure, yeah, and I don't have that in front of me, but we can certainly.
Yeah, and it'll have to be now, but I think before we vote on that resolution on the floor, we should know, especially if it's going to be, if you're saying we're about to start having those conversations in like a few months now, it would be nice to know if we're walking in with $1 million and we have the remaining balance of whatever,
I'm
Sure.
just going to add on to Alderman Aldridge. I think what we're saying, I would like to see when you present it and the Exhibit A to have that, what we adjusted it to, what's left.
Sure, so
Just,
I'll have to talk to.
or even if it's not the Exhibit A, I think if you could just hand it
Yeah,
out.
I was gonna say, I don't think it needs to be in I think it'd actually be harmful for it to be in the exhibit itself, but because the exhibit's about funding these organizations, not the overall funds. But I can certainly talk to the Office of Violence Prevention, and once we have this Exhibit A as amended, we can crunch the numbers and have that dollar amount. And again, there are substantial funds there. The issue we're running into is not a lack of money; it's a lack of ability to dole out that money and to effectively manage those contracts, which is something that we hope to alleviate moving forward.
Got it. That's all I got.
All right. Anything further? Anyone? All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to excuse. Oh, go ahead.
Are we going to take public comment?
Sure, we can take public comment. Is there anyone here?
We
for-
have one person to
Oh,
speak.
I apologize.
Ms. Ferguson, could you go to the podium, please?
I
Gotta turn
think
on the
the microphone needs to
Okay, got
green
it.
light, and then.
Now?
Yep. Do you
Alright.
swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is true to the best of your ability?
Yes.
All right. You have 3 minutes. Please proceed.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Deon Ferguson. I am with Good Journey Development Foundation. I am here speaking, first of all, thank you all for your work, but I decided to speak because you mentioned starting in December with this process. And you also mentioned that there's limited resources as far as power, human power to get this work done. And from the perspective of a grassroots organization doing this work with young people in the community, starting in December is too late. This year, we turned in applications, I believe, in March, and it's almost August, right? So we've been working, we've been doing the work. So to wait that long for funds, we're not a large organization, so we don't have reserve funds to operate from. So we really need you all to start this process earlier and get it done sooner. So maybe in October start it, so that we have funding by January or February. Thank you.
Thank you. And just so that you're aware, one of the things that that this committee has looked at is also changing the effective dates of the contracts. One of the things that we run into with this every year, frankly, is the trying to get this resolution out before we go on to our summer legislative break. It's just an issue with the ordinance itself. But I think one of the things that we're looking to address is exactly what you had mentioned, is the effective dates of those contracts to make sure that organizations can spend down their money more effectively.
So are you saying that if the contracts are issued, say, August 15th, the effective date of the contract would then be what?
So what we're looking at now, what I've talked to the Office of Violence Prevention about is basically running them on the school year cycle. There's a lot of organizations that are dealing with a lot of summer programs, and the way that it's working right now, at the end of July, the contracts run. You still have another month or so before all the kids get back into school. So it's really kind of jamming up people,
Yeah.
organizations who are doing the summer work.
Right.
So what we're looking at doing is starting the effective date of the contract August 1, and then moving. It runs through
July
September.
31st.
Yeah, July 31. Excuse me.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. I just want you all to keep in mind that those of us who are doing this work on the ground, the work doesn't stop because your processes take longer. So we need to work together.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. With that, I will entertain a motion to excuse Alderman Oldenburg and Alderwoman Saunier.
So moved. Or I
Second.
motion, or yes, I did that.
All right, so it's been moved by Alderwoman Velasquez, seconded by Alderwoman Keys. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
All right, with that, we have excused Alderman Oldenburg and Alderwoman Saunier. Are there any announcements? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We stand adjourned.
Aye.